Welcome to the channel, everybody. Aaron Masterson, and today we're going to talk about how you can break through strength plateaus by lifting the bar faster and not just heavier. Let's get into it. Before we do, I'm recording this late in the afternoon and that sun is extremely bright. So I'm going to pull a little Casey Neistat here and throw on some sunglasses so that I can see you guys a little bit better. So today I was reading an article by Greg Nuckols. I'm gonna link it down below. If you really want to read this in full detail, he really goes through this entire study step by step and why it was well done. I'll link that down below, and if you want to check it out, feel free to. It's just a long read, so I thought I'd summarize some of it here. So the idea behind this study was lifting with high velocity versus actually slowing down the reps on purpose. So if you've done a lot of training, whether it's bodybuilding, CrossFit, whatever, you've heard that we damage our muscles by having time under tension, and it's that muscle damage that then we recover from, which helps us grow and get stronger and hypertrophy happen, all that. You'll often hear to throw in a tempo. A lot of times this is written as something like 3, 1, 3, 1. That notation is useful, and coaches write that out to indicate that you're gonna do a 3-second eccentric movement, then pause at the bottom, say for a bench press for 1 second, and then maybe a 3-second press, and then pause at the top for a second. So you're gonna maintain this tempo throughout the movement, throughout your entire set. In the case of the study, they indicated that concentric movement, or that explosive upward, either let's say on a squat when you're standing up, or a bench press when you're pushing up, or a press like I'm gonna demonstrate here when you're pushing up, should be done explosively with as much speed as you possibly can. Basically, they took two groups. They had one group that did all the reps with a controlled eccentric, that's a lowering of the weight, then an explosive concentric, versus a group that did controlled lowering and controlled pressing up, or a concentric phase, and found that the group that did the explosive reps had a much more dramatic increase in strength, both at maximal weights and at some of those weights that they had trained at on a regular basis. I'm going to show you some examples here. I'm going to use a standing military press because this is a movement that's really been a battle for me, and this is what I'm going to test out this kind of theory on. And there's some really cool stuff in the article about how you can kind of adjust your daily weight based upon actually your velocity that you're moving the bar at. One of the biggest challenges with this is you've got to keep the speed pretty explosive. You want to keep that velocity really high on these reps, and it's kind of hard to judge. I just knocked out a set, and I could tell, I was kind of slowing down on the last couple of reps. So if anybody has a recommendation as to like an app or a piece of technology that they like to use that helps actually like communicate with your smartphone as to what that velocity actually is during each rep, I would be open to recommendations and willing to give something a shot if somebody had any ideas. So participants in the study group typically did between 36 to 60 reps of the movement they were training. So that's about 12 to 20 reps per training session, because they train 3 times a week. And so you could do 4 sets of 3 up to about 4 sets of 5 with that movement, or if you want to do a little bit heavier percentage, probably don't want to go much above about 80%. And some in the participating study only trained at about 60% of their 1 RM. So take that into account when you're setting up your training schedule and the volume that you're going to be training these lifts at. My plan is to perform my reps with a 3-second lowering of the bar, hold it, pause at the bottom so I'm not kind of bouncing with that stretch, and then exploding back up, and then holding for a second at the top and lowering back down. Probably do this about 3 times a week because that's what they did in the study, and see if this helps improve my press. You better subscribe to the channel if you want to find out what happens, because this is where I'll kind of share my results at the end. Again, go check out the article, super interesting, but I would like to hear what some of the rest of you find out from trying this in your own training. So like I said, get out there, pick a movement, either like a squat or a bench or press. Do this for 4 to 6 weeks, and then go ahead, probably deload a bit and test your max again and see how it goes. According to the study, it says this should be real helpful. I'm gonna go hit some reps, and you better like and subscribe to this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.